What's going on? Welcome to QVO Games. My name is Juan. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it so much. This week's video is going to be about the game. It's going to read till the week of October 15th. We have some pretty cool games, a lot of great ones that I'm excited to tell you about. And yeah, let's get this video going on because I believe it may be a long video. Keep in mind, I'm covering the games coming to retail in the US. Keep that in mind. Also keep in mind, if a game's retail release date changes, I will make sure to update you about that change in its new respective video. Let's get these games shown. Let's show off some games. Some pretty cool stuff going on. I'm excited to talk about it. First things first, coming out on October 16th is going to be Monster Hunter World, the board game Ancient Forest by Steam Forged Games. This game was on Kickstarter and it came with like a bunch of miniatures and stuff like that. This game is based off a video game IP, and I have played the video game IP as well. I'm really excited about that game. I was really excited about that game when it first came into video gaming. When it came out to like the consoles and such, and I played it, it was a lot of fun. It was always a lot of fun to play with friends. In similar fashion, Monster Hunter World is a cooperative game, right? Cooperative arena combat board game for 1 to 4 players. In this game, you're going to have different monsters you are hunting, and you are a hunter, you're a monster hunter. And they all have their different gimmick on how to beat them, right? Typical to the video game, in the board game, each one is like in a different arena or different environment, and each monster just plays differently and attacks you differently. So you have to study the puzzle and their attack patterns and such, and find out how to beat them. When you beat them and you hunt them down, you're going to also farm them, right? You're going to farm their resources, and you're going to use that to make better armor and better weapons and such. One cool thing about that is like these monsters do not disappoint. Like the miniatures look amazing. And it's, for me, as someone who was a fan of the video game, seeing these come out into like the miniature mode, right, and board games is pretty cool. It's a really, really cool experience for me. I love seeing how like they all look. They have some cool miniatures. I mean, Steamforged usually does a really great job with some really cool miniatures. Here in the middle is the arena, the little grid here that you're going to go on. And there is a little bit of a campaign. There's also scenarios that you can go through as well. You don't have to just do a whole campaign. You can just play one monster because, like, hey, you find it fun. Maybe you messed up. You messed up and you lost. You have to go back and beat it again and try to beat it this time. The difficulty in the game did scale with the monster, so I wonder if they captured that really well with the board game. That would be awesome. The game is a cooperative arena combat board game. You're going to go in, you can play campaign or scenario style, and it's progressive. So each time in the campaign you beat a monster, the monster you farm it, and then you use it to build your armor and your weapons and such. Also, on top of this, there are a bunch of expansions, right? There's this one here, which is the Hunter's Arsenal expansion. The Nergigante. Nergigante is just a dragon monster you hunt in the video game. Now you can add them to your base game. There is Wildspire Waste. There's Teatra expansion. Teatra is like a really big like fire dragon in the game, if I remember right. And there's also Kashula Deora, which is a different like diamond dragon, whatever, yeah, kind of thing. Yeah, there's a lot of expansions. And they're pretty pricey, but you're also paying for a really big miniature that I think would look awesome painted and displayed. So it kind of weighs in, right? Base game alone, I'm sure, will give you plenty to play, plenty to do. If you like the game, chase after the expansions. Steamforged has a tendency to have a bunch of expansions for their board games. Nothing wrong with that in any way, shape, or form. If you love the game, then now you have more to add to your game. It's just kind of how it is. Keep in mind, like I said, I think the base game will be good enough for you. But however, if you want more, there is more. Always an option. This is Monster Hunter World and its expansions coming out on October 16th by Steamforged Games. Coming up next, we have Unboxed by WizKids coming out on October 18th. Interesting game. There's a little bit like a mystery solving game inside of a box. Those like escape room in a box style games kind of thing. Unboxed, you're going to go in a cooperative fashion with your friends, and you're going to uncover board game pieces. And you want to discover how this ancient board game played. And when you're doing so, you're going to be solving the puzzle and the mystery, and you're going to be building a board game. Kind of tickles the board game designer like mind a little bit, as well as like other board gamers alike, right? This is an interesting theme. Sounds extremely cool. I hope it's implemented perfectly because I'm kind of excited. I want to try it out. It sounds cool. That's really cool, right? To uncover ancient board games and you're like a board game connoisseur or fanatic. That's fun. That sounds like a lot of fun. I'm curious. I'm so curious. I want to check it out myself. This is going to be Unboxed by WizKids coming out on October 18th. Leaf by Weird City Games coming out to you October 18th. Also, Leaf. Wow. This game is getting like a lot of hype. over like Instagram, Facebook. Everyone's posting about their Kickstarter copies that are coming in. People are getting it in like a very nice recycled wrapping paper. Super cool. I love that stuff, like that type of like presentation when you get a game. I don't know. I love that stuff. So that's pretty cool stuff. Standard edition. This is a standard edition. There's a deluxe edition. I love deluxeified copies games. I love deluxeified copies games. Deluxe components. 10 out of 10. I love when my game just kind of pops off the table, immerses me into the experience more, and that's why I love deluxe copies. I'm going over to standard edition. We're not going to do deluxe copy only because that's typically, I think it's just more standard and more economical usually, especially when you have so many games. Leaf. In this game, you have a little bit of tile placement, a little bit of tableau building and set collection going on. Leaves are falling in the forest, and your goal is to basically rejuvenate this forest by bringing in woodland creatures and bringing in and growing mushrooms and leading different pivotal animals in nature or in an environment ecosystem to go and do different things. Have it be a squirrel bringing acorns everywhere, laying seeds, right? Bees pollinating and such, depending on the ecosystem. The game is like, it's a heavy style game, right? It's a heavy game, easy to learn, hard to master is like how it looks like, and it's described a lot. It looks interesting. It has some high strategy involved with it, with the way you're going to be picking up your leaves, which are going to give you like different leaf cards and different action options. I don't know. We'll see. It's a lot of hype. It's a beautiful game. For me, First Step is a beautiful game that brings me into the game a little more, and then from there, the mechanics have to be good. So we'll see. We'll see where Leaf stands up. I want to give it a shot, and I hope a friend owns it because I want to give it at least one shot before I pull the trigger on buying this game. Leaf by Weird City Games, coming out October 8th. Coming up next is going to be Trickdraw by Housefish Balloon and in collaboration with Good Games Publishing. Trickdraw is an awesome game, by the way. I love this game. This game was super surprising. I was really astonished when I first played the game. I was surprised. The card game. It's like a card game, and your goal is to reach a set amount of points. And by doing that, you're going to have cards that you play down. And if you play them face down, they're worth a point. If you flip them over somehow by a different card effect, they have a card effect. And some of them are like, flip over the card and X happens. Or play this card just face up and X happens. And then you build a little bit of an engine with these cards. Because like, if you somehow flip them over and flip them back over again, the effect activates. And you're trying to build that out with the cards in front of you. It's literally a little card game. Like, it's just a deck of cards, right? However, I do love the way they have like a first edition box. I'd love to own that only because I love the game. If you buy 2 sets, you can play with more players. I've played with like 3 or 4, and I think it plays pretty good there. 2 is tough. Something gimmicky about the game that's really cool. I think this is really cool is that at the end of the game, if you trigger end game and someone has equal amounts of points of you guys both have a shootout, right? You're playing as like cowboys, knights, and all that stuff. So you both have like some type of shootout and you draw. So if he has 11 points, you have 11 points, you're both out of the running. You're last place, essentially. So everyone else gets a chance to kind of get into it. So if you can find a way to kind of flip and do that at the end with an endgame trigger, like endgame triggers, and then you somehow manage to flip their cards so they have less points than you, or they equal amount of points to someone else. I think it's awesome. It's very cool, very awesome game. I'm excited. I'm super excited to always bring this game to the table, which I may actually today because I think I have a game night, and I think I might actually pop it out. This is going to be Trickdraw by Housefish Balloon, coming out to you October 18th. It's awesome. I love this game. Coming up next is going to be Mercurial, I'm probably saying that wrong, I apologize, coming out on October 18th by Hyper Elixir, and Good Games Publishing is also distributing. Mercurial, you're playing as spellcrafters, right? And you are comboing and building spells with some dice manipulation and card play going on. First things first, the game looks gorgeous, right? The components look awesome. I love how that looks. That looks amazing. And even the dice and such, everything looks amazing. The cool thing about this game, I guess, is that there's so many variable ways to build out spells, right? That like, it's almost like it's rumored to be almost like 500 or plus different ways to build out your spells. You can combo your spells differently, create different spells that activate different things. And that's interesting. It's a little bit of engine building. You have asymmetric classes, and asymmetric classes come with asymmetric and isometric. Asymmetric classes come with random artifacts you get, which change up the variability of play. So not just the spell crafting can be different for you, but also your different class, as well as an artifact that changes the game up for you a little bit. Sounds awesome. It all sounds really cool. I want to give it a shot because I want to see for myself what's the big rush about. The goal of the game essentially is that you're going to have questing to do, have it be help and explore, defeat a beast, and this gains you renown, right? You get renown for that, fame, victory points for it, and you want to have the most at the end of the game. That's the biggest thing. And this is kind of how the spells, like, right, the spells you create and such come out looking like. Awesome artwork. Awesome, amazing artwork. I am really pumped about that. It looks like a beautiful game. Haven't played it myself, but I'm excited to try it out. This is going to be Mercurial, coming out on October 18th by Hyperelixir and Good Games Publishing. Coming up next by Facade is going to be Hollywood 1947, coming out to you on October 18th. Facade has a lot of these games. They're social deduction game. This is a social deduction game, and they have kind of like a book collection of them, right? There's like Bristol, there is Salem, there is a bunch, right? There's a lot of them, and I actually have most of them down here. Social deduction games are interesting. I'm gonna explain this one, and I'm gonna give you my opinion on a couple things here. Hollywood 1947 is a social deduction game, and you're trying to build a movie or film, right? When you're building this movie or the film, there are people who are trying to put in their propaganda into it, their propaganda of their own kind of will. And that's going to be what you're trying. That's going to be the werewolf of the game, right? Like the person who is trying to mess with things, and that's the social deduction. Find out who is this person trying to insert their propaganda into the game. So in Hollywood 1947, you're building a movie out, which I think is a really cool theme. The whole movie building scene thing is really neat. I like that a lot. And you're going to be building this movie out by using different cards, right? And there's going to be your posters and such. Everyone's going to put in a card. Well, if you have a specific symbol that was pulled out randomly, you're going to slide in a card, and you're going to shuffle the cards up. And if specific symbols, if you look at the bottom here, are put in, the person with the most symbols wins the round, essentially, right? Like they all, like that movie has the most symbols of my group, so you win that round. That's the goal of the werewolf of the game, right? That's kind of like the person who's like the antagonist. That's gonna be pretty much it. That's really straightforward, the gist. They're not really complicated games usually. So the thing about social deduction games, though, there's a lot of social deduction games. There's a lot. There's so many. I think at this point, you have to choose a theme that you like, a theme that resonates with you. You're like, oh, I like ninjas, or I like movies and movie making. Have it be other Facade games. I like pirates. I like the Salem witch trials. I like this. If you like all that stuff, then you choose what theme you like in social deduction, and you go with it and you pick it up. There's a lot of great social deduction games. There's a lot of them. So Hollywood 1947 was on Kickstarter, and it apparently did really well. I want to try out the game. I love Hollywood and movie making. I love all that stuff. So I'm going to give it a shot and see if I like it or not. This is Hollywood 1947, coming out on October 18th by Facade Games. Coming up next by Smirk and Dagger is going to be Tesseract, coming out to you October 18th. Tesseract was on my list video of the games coming to retail, right? Like my top 10 games coming to retail in 2023. I was really excited. I am really excited still to play this game. In Tesseract, it's a cooperative game with dice manipulation, right? There's going to be, the cool part is that I like is this cube that's in the middle of the table when you're playing the game. It looks awesome. I love how that looks. In Tesseract, your whole goal is going to be to manipulate this cube here and create patterns in the cube. And you're doing so by using your board and such and doing different actions at the same time with your other players. You can't allow too many breaches or remove the last cube from the Tesseract, because if you do, you lose the game. So a little bit of puzzle going on when manipulating the matrix of 24 cubes and trying to figure out how the best way to do this, right? Like it's how to make this work. Of each color, there's 24 cubes of each colored value. So there's a lot of dice here, of course. Every player has abilities. They all do different things. This game apparently has a great solo mode as well. I am pumped. This is a game, like I said, I've been really excited to play for a very long time. And I'm pumped to get it going. This is going to be Tesseract, coming out to you October 18th by Smirk and Dagger Games. Coming up next, also coming out to you October 18th, is going to be Mission Control Critical Orbit. This game got a lot of great marketing. Like a lot of awesome marketing. For good reason, too. You're going to have a astronaut flight commander, and up to 3 players take on the role of flight controllers, and your whole goal is to help the astronaut commander fly home, back home to Earth. They pulled off a mission, now they have to fly back to Earth. Cool part about this, it's real time. you have a 20-minute timer, and your goal is to, the Aethernaut, the one trying to get back home, their goal is to build polyomino pathway back home. But the other players are doing other tasks, and the other tasks are going to give the Aethernaut controller the polyominoes he needs to get home, and it's all in under 20 minutes. If you run out of time, the ship suffers a catastrophic failure, causing the Mercury 3 rocket to explode in orbit, and everyone loses. It's a cooperative, real-time based game. This game got all the great marketing because I think the way you showcase a game like this is by gameplay. Like, you need a lot of gameplay. You can't, a rule book or like a little video, I think, would barely help. Actual gameplay is great, and at different conventions they had a bunch of influencers come in and play the game and all that stuff, and they like showcased it and showed people, and you can go watch it and such. That was a great way to do it, especially people who like will enjoy the game and such and play it. Down here you can buy like one with baggies here, like the versions of the game with baggies, which I think is pretty cool. Yeah, mission control passed my radar. Like, I did not expect, like, I saw it and I'm like, it looks whatever, but I started watching the gameplay and such, and I saw that live gameplay, and I'm like, that's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool game. I was really excited. I want to try it myself. Yet again, if you don't like that pressure, right, or that pressure, or like that from a timer or something like that, I wouldn't recommend this game too much. It's a real-time rescue adventure game. However, I just think the teamwork aspect of it is really neat and awesome. Mission Control Critical Orbit, coming October 18th by Third World Studios. I'm excited to play this one so bad. I can't wait. Coming up next is going to be Lunar Rush, coming out to you October 20th. Lunar Rush is by Dead Alive Games. They're the ones who published this game. It was on Kickstarter, and now it will be coming out to you on retail. Lunar Rush is a Euro-style board game based in space, right? You're colonizing Mars. You're colonizing the moon and bringing those resources back to Earth to try to profit and sell them. You're going to be doing some resource management, right? Time-based resource management. You're going to be fighting for a first player. You're going to be having some tableau and engine building. There is so many of these games now, like Euro space games, and there's more coming. I can think of two right off my head, top of my head. I can think of two already. They're coming out soon, so it's definitely a really heavy market. Lunar Rush seems like a really fun game, and I'm gonna show you some more pictures and such. With your actions, you're gonna be getting Giga credits. Giga credits are VP points. With your kind of contract fulfillment you have going on with like bringing stuff back to Earth to sell off, right? Scroll down, bunch of great components. This game was on Kickstarter, so it has this long list, which is great and awesome. You're going to bid for initiative. You're going to choose shipping routes. Being first, of course, gives you dibs on the best shipping routes from Earth to Moon and Moon to Earth, which is always good. You're going to build your moon base, which is going to be like your engine and such, and your tableau building a little bit. Transport goods to Earth, right? That you're going to take off to sell, and then profit in the Earth market to get your points, right? Your Giga points or Giga credits, which equals VP points. Check out the game. This is Lunar Rush. It looks interesting, but like I said, there's just so many of these like space Euro style games now. It's I mean, sci-fi is really popular right now. It's trending, I guess. Lunar Rush coming out to you October 20th by Dead Alive Games. Coming up next by Horrible Guild is going to be Sunrise Lane by Horrible Guild and designer Reiner Knizia. Reiner Knizia makes a lot. I mean, he's a legendary board game designer. He makes so many games, and people love all his games. So, Sunrise Lane, in this game, you're going to be building on prestigious plots of land, and you're going to build beautiful homes. But you have to build them faster than your competitors, so other players can do so. When you're building these plots of land, you have to have cards. You pull the cards out of a deck, and you're going to have them in your hand. Sometimes you can even combo one turn and build green, red, blue, right? You're going to be building out all your plots of your homes. Not different colors, by the way. It depends on the plot, not the colors, because that's going to indicate different player colors. The way you do so, you're going to pick your lands with the cards you have, and you're going to be trying to combo by playing a card of the same color to build a new house and score points. You play more cards to build additional floors, and taller the house, the more points you get. Interesting stuff. A lot of randomness, right? It depends on the deck of cards what you can and can't build, what combos you can pull off. That's typically a Reiner Knizia game. Reiner Knizia has a lot of that. But if a game does not have a level of variability, and like sense like randomness involved thrown in somewhere, then it's just a game of chess. I'm gonna main a game of chess. In a game of chess, there are certain amount of good moves you can do on your first turn. Those are like, and these good moves can sometimes, these first 4 or 5 moves can really just determine how the game's gonna go. That's why randomness in games, I think, is good, is healthy. However, I always keep in mind, if there is not much control at all in my decisions, and my decisions are just kind of thrown in the garbage because it's all random, then I start questioning it. I'm not saying this game has that, but it's something to keep in mind with games that have a lot of like element of uncontrollable madness with the randomness. Keep in mind. However, this looks like a simple game. I love the table presence alone. There's a really great reveal trailer I watched as well, and even the components and such and the board, that looks awesome. I love how it stacks. Gives me like Rolling Heights vibes a little bit. I love how that looks. It looks awesome. I want to try it out and give it a shot. Check it out. Barno Knizia, like I said, he's a great board game designer, so you definitely don't want to miss out on this one. Sunrise Lane by Horrible Guild coming out on October 20th. Thank you for watching the video. I appreciate it. We made it to the end. Thank you for watching the video. If you're going to buy any of these games, I would love to know. Let me know in the comments what game you're going to be picking up. If there's a game maybe you're saving up for and it's not one of my lists, let me know in the comments. I want to know what games you're picking up. Let's talk about it, find out what games. At the moment, I am currently in a buying freeze only because I have so many games to play and a lot of stuff to shoot as a content creator that I got to focus on first. But some of these games are on my radar because I want to try them really bad. And I hope I have friends who also pick them up so I can try them at their house and try them at their game nights. Thank you for watching the video. I appreciate it. If you made it this far, that's awesome. Seriously, it's bottom of my heart. I appreciate it so much for watching these videos and watch them all the way through. It helps the channel a lot. Lets me know we're doing a good job. Thank you. Have a good one.